Hello, folks. Today I'm going to talk about the responsibilities of carrying a weapon. Now, I and a lot of my friends, we do carry weapons on a regular basis. Um, I consider a knife a tool, I frequently carry one, and I quite often exercise my right uh, with my concealed pistol permit in Colorado. Um, and it's kind of, a burden. It's not, it doesn't give you more options in terms of dealing with trouble. It actually kind of like takes away. Let me get this out of the way. This is the Ninjutsu podcast. I'm your host, Don Rowley. Hit subscribe if you want more of this. But I'm bringing this up because, recently there's been a case in the news really dividing us along racial lines, unfortunately, of a case in Frisco, Texas. The basic facts of the story goes as follows. A 17-year-old high school student who was an athlete at a school event for track went into a tent that was clearly marked as belonging to another school. He was told to leave. He refused. At one point, he stuck his hand in a bag, grabbing a knife but not showing it to anyone, and saying words to the effect of, "Touch me and find out." The victim, whose name was Austin Metcalf, did push, grab, or both him, at which point the killer, whose name is Carmelo Anthony, stabbed him to death with one strike. He then ran away, threw the knife into the bleachers, and when he was pointed out to the responding officers, he claimed self-defense. Now, where did I get this information? Basically, the arrest report. I will post a link to it in the description. Now, you might have heard something else. There has been, I call them team killer, and there are people on the internet intent on trying to justify this murder, and that is what he's being charged with, first-degree murder. A relative of Carmelo, who is not in the tent, not even the same state, is spreading a story that the victim is a known racist. No indication that I've seen outside of things like this that, one of his friends who is a person of color has gone on ballistic defending him. And, he was bullied by him and his twin, and it was a mass attack, not just one-on-one. No mention of that in the police report. The booking picture, there's no, broken nose or torn lip. He looks fine, not even a mussed hair. Other people have gone so far as to make fake accounts pretending to be the sheriff to trash the victim. There's been a fake autopsy spread around. But going off the arrest report, no, these are the facts as I stated them. And again, team killer is intent on justifying this. It's like, stand your ground. He had a right to be there. All that. Which really, again, I'm going to try to get my friend Alan, who's been on the program before and is a lawyer, to really discuss this. But at any point, Carmelo had the chance to walk away. He chose not to. Some people are talking about he had a right to be in that tent. Even if that's true, he was willing to kill over his right to be in a tent. Is this the type of crap we're going to kill each other over? I don't think so. And if you carry a weapon, you shouldn't. That's just that is. I mean, it was about his pride. It wasn't that his life was on the line. He concealed the fact that he had a knife in his hands by keeping it in the bag, and convinced the victim that this was just going to be one of those silly macho BS things that young men engage in with bare hands. But no, he was preparing to kill this guy as soon as he did something, because he didn't want to walk out of the tent. Can you think of a more silly reason? And you got to ask yourself, when you carry a gun, when you carry a knife, what are you willing to kill over? Are you willing to kill because someone took your parking spot? I don't think so, and if you don't think so, then when you have a gun on you, you really can't go up to them and start berating them. If they beat the crap out of you and they find the gun, well, then they might shoot you with it. So you really can't risk, losing a fight. So your only option at that point is not get into one. This is what, police cannot afford to lose a fist fight with a suspect. And this is why, when they're down the ground and someone's about ready to kick them into unconsciousness, they have to shoot. But they are the ones that are supposed to go towards trouble. I'm talking about people that are willing to start trouble with someone. When you carry a pistol, you do not have the luxury of confronting the person that slapped your wife's ass. End of story. It should not be about pride. This killing was about the kid not wanting to lose face by leaving. And someone is dead for it. And people are out there. Team Killer is making every excuse they can. He got shoved. He was defending himself. Is being shoved a death penalty now? In a prior video, I talked about the reality of weapons, of how a lot of people, they engage with what's called social violence, which is a type of thing that we did in schools. And again, this was a high school. The victim obviously thought this was going to be a social violence thing, with unarmed, slowing hands. Well, the killer was preparing to kill. It just goes to show you don't know. Some people will not follow the rules. This killer did not follow the rules. And there are people out there, Team Killer, that are ecstatic over the idea of a black man killing a white person, and they think he's going to get off. There's a group on Facebook called Justice for Carmelo Anthony. It's got over 50,000 members, and they're posting things about how Austin is twerking at the end of a pitchfork in hell, and they're laughing about it. It's disgusting, but that's another issue. My point is if you carry a deadly weapon, then your responsibility to walk away from silly crap is stronger, not less. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people then who think that because they carry a weapon, they can get away with more. And the name for that is punk. Young punk, old punk, doesn't matter. That's not, you don't want to be a punk. If you're studying martial arts, you're probably talking about warriors, but yeah. Remember, when you carry something like this or a gun, you have the power of life and death in your hands. What are you willing to kill somebody over? Is it because they said something bad? They insulted you? That's worthy of killing them? I don't think so. And I don't train people that think like that. If you carry, you gotta be, as a friend of mine wisely said on Facebook, when you carry a pistol, you take on the responsibility of being the biggest coward in the room until and unless there is a need for lethal force. And that's the way, I can't say it better. Thank you, Jim. Anyways, like, subscribe, make a comment about, this thing. Just going to warn you, I'm going to link to the arrest report, and I'm also going to link to a video by a guy named Officer Tatum. And if you think to make sure, well, how come white people like Rittenhouse and Zimmerman could claim self-defense, but not this case? Zip it. Just watch the video by Officer Tatum, and he will destroy your idiotic little arguments, okay? Totally different situations. As it came, I want to stress this enough. I can't stress this enough. What this killing came down to is that the killer was willing to kill Austin Metcalf over a matter of where he could stand. Okay. Even if you think that shoving someone is worthy of death, he actively had the actively contributed to the situation. He had a chance to walk away. If he had walked away, no one would have died. He was willing, he was more willing to kill someone than swallow a little pride and walk away. And that's not the type of person that should be studying this art. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.